Hey guys, it's me Samantha and I'm here to talk about spring eyeshadow palettes. I know spring is already here. It's kind of come and gone a little bit here in New England. It's taking its sweet time. It literally snowed the other day right after having some 78-degree sunshine. So it's a little weird out there, but we are going to make the most of it. And I wanted to talk about the 10 eyeshadow palettes that I recommend for the springtime. Most of them you may already have, and yeah, so let's get started. If you are new to my channel, my name is Samantha. I am a mom of 3. I work full-time and I'm a makeup enthusiast, and I don't take myself too seriously, and neither should you. So alright, I'm gonna start with the biggest palette, and they're not in any particular order, just picking up whatever I grab first. But the first thing that I grabbed here is the Glam Light Ice Cream palette. I think this palette is just really beautiful for spring and even summertime. It has a lot of nice pastel shades, but they have darker shades here to kind of deepen up the corners. There's lots of neutrals here too if you're a neutral girl and you just want to dabble in some color. You can really mix it up. I think this is a great springtime palette. You can get some really cute look. The next palette I would recommend is the See You Never palette. Now I kind of previously compared this to the Lost in Los Angeles palette from BH Cosmetics because they do have a similar color story, but I feel like this one just has a little bit more depth to it if you needed it. It's a $30 palette from an indie brand, and it has a lot of really beautiful shades in here. I think the quality is decent. It's not the best eyeshadow palette I've ever tried, but I think for the color story, the price point, and the quality of the palette itself, it's a really good option. And yeah, I mean, I've purchased the Lost in Los Angeles, and they have a little bit better quality shadows, but they don't have the color story that I feel like really speaks to everybody because it doesn't have as much depth to it. I've also tried the LA Girl Main Street palette, and there are a few shades in that palette that are straight up duds. This one is really good all the way, very consistent, and I really enjoy this palette. I think it's a great option for the springtime. This palette here, I recently just saw on the Sephora sale site, so it's still available. I purchased this, I don't know if it was 2 years now. It's the Violet Voss Flamingo palette, and this was like a summertime palette, but it has a lot of really beautiful springtime shadows in here. I know some people don't love, you know, having, let me get a hold of this, having a black eyeshadow with some pastel shades, but I just feel like you can really mix shades with black to kind of deepen things out, give some depth, and I love that. I think it has some really gorgeous purples, pinks, and just colors that remind you of spring and flowers and just all of that. It doesn't need to just be a beach palette just because it is, you know, marketed that way. I think it would be a beautiful springtime palette. Another oldie but a goodie is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Norvina palette. Everybody knows this palette and it's gorgeous. They have really amazing consistent quality, and the shades really do speak to spring, and this is really great for somebody who's like an everyday makeup wearer but you don't want to wear anything too adventurous. It has some really beautiful neutrals, beautiful shimmers in here, and I think this is an awesome option for the springtime. This palette right here was one that took me so long to decide to purchase. This is the Huda Beauty Mercury Retrograde palette. And this palette to me really screams springtime because it has these pastel shades, the peaches, the teals, you know, really beautiful spring shades in there, along with some neutrals just to kind of keep everything honed in. And I love it. I think it's a great option for the spring. A couple ColourPop palettes that we've already grown to love is the ColourPop Sweet Talk palette. This is a really peachy, beautiful springtime palette. This came out last year in 2020, and I think it's a real hit, and I don't see why we can't pull it back out. Another one is from their butterfly collection. This is the Gimme Butterflies. This one screams spring into summer for me. It has this gorgeous pink shade here, this really pretty like champagne-y gold, and just some really great mattes. You have pinks and peaches that pack in a punch, but don't scream summer quite yet. And I think this is a great palette. One that snuck up on me is this one here. There's a lot of mixed reviews out there on the internet about this one, but I will tell you that my opinion is that it's pretty good. This is the Beauty Bay Pastels palette, and I really like this palette. If you are into pastels, which is a big trend right now, this is a great palette to have. Even with my skin tone, medium to tan skin tone, it shows up really incredibly well, and I really like this, especially for like a one shade color eye look. I love it. The next palette I wanted to talk about is the She Glam Bubblegum palette. I am a big fan of the She Glam palettes. I'm pretty sure this is probably a dupe for a Huda palette. I don't know which one, but probably one of the pastels from last year, but I don't care. I like it. They just have these gorgeous pastels. Even that yellow shows up on me. I've worn it to work, and the formula that they have on their shimmers are just absolutely stunning. They're gorgeous, glittery, reflective, and this really just screams spring to me, and it's at a really great price at like $4 and some change, so I would definitely check this out. The next palette is what I'm wearing on my eyes right now, and it is the Huda Lilac Pastel palette. I really like this palette. I think it's a beautiful pastel springtime palette. It can take you into summer a little bit with those peaches and everything, but I do want to mention that there's a more affordable alternative, which is the She Glam, what's it called, Rhapsody palette. They are exact dupes, and I am wearing them today. So you could save your money on this and purchase this. And then I wanted to throw in one bonus palette to kind of throw you guys off a little bit, because it's not really a summer palette, it's not really a spring palette, it's a fall palette. It is the Too Faced Pumpkin Spice palette. Now, I did not purchase this when it first came out because I was not at all interested in it for the fall. Come winter time, Christmas time, I ended up breaking down and purchasing this, not because I wanted to wear it in the winter, but because in my brain, this was 100% a spring palette, and I didn't want the spring to come and for me to not have this. And this is what she looks like. It has these warm neutrals, yes, that make you think of spring, the yellow and the orange, but those can also be summery colors, spring colors. And what really sells me on the springtime is this whole section here. You have this pretty like lavendery shade. Okay, that is very spring appropriate. There you go. You have this pink shade, oh my gourd, very spring appropriate. And you have this fall vibes shade, which I feel like is still spring appropriate. It just, what about this? PSL and Chill. It's like a beautiful purple. These colors can be spring colors. Crisp. It's a pink. So I just think this palette really speaks spring to me, and then it has the darker shades to kind of hone it in, bring it into you know, a more dimensional look. It doesn't have to be a fall palette. I'm going to swatch these since they're already on my hand. And yeah, I think those look like beautiful spring shades to me, and then deepen up the corners or whatever, and yeah, you're gonna have a really pretty look with that. So if you liked the options that I just threw out there. Give this video a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Until next time, please think about subscribing. That would really help my channel out. And we love you. Bye.